Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. In today's video, you're pretty much going to learn how to throw inside World of Tanks. Today I'm playing on my main account in the T110E5. This vehicle, it's just so American, and it's not just the style. This tank is about as American as it gets. It's just well-rounded, it's good at everything, and it just loves nothing more than to get itself into a bit of a brawl, and I am not going to shy away from any opportunity to brawl in this vehicle. This tank, a lot of people overcomplicate. It is not a tank that you want to try and play safely in. It is not a tank that you want to try and not take risks. You've got a big bloomin' weak point on top of your vehicle. Good luck trying to hide that. So what your strength in this tank is using its outrageous damage per minute at 2,700 with great penetration on a variety of its rounds to just make sure that you're trying to damage something while hopefully keeping moving and having your opponents miss your weak point. That's really your only chance. Back in the day, the T110E5 had an awful weak point, and then Wargaming buffed it up crazy, and the vehicle became the best tier 10 in the game, crazy overpowered, and then Wargaming decided to nerf the weak point again, and now the T110E5's in pretty good position. I would recommend this tank for anyone who wants to play aggressively and just play an all-round tank. Ooh, that's a good start. When you've got a great rate of fire with a gun rammer and vents, and you hopefully can just keep your opponents tracked, but even with the gun rammer and vents and a decent rate of fire on this vehicle, still not enough to be able to get that E50. Oh dear, there we go. There's the weak point on the T110E5 rearing its ugly head. I genuinely didn't think it was that tall. The guy was able to shoot me when I wasn't even able to see them, but that's what a weak point does on top of the vehicle. Remember, your view is always going to be from the gun effectively on the tank. And when you've got a huge weak point like the T110E5 on top, oof, it can be a little bit unfortunate. I genuinely can't believe that we're losing so many hit points to a T100 LT from the front, and the fact that we haven't even done that much damage in this game. We're now down to 800 hit points with 1,600 damage dealt. That is not the kind of result that we're looking for in any tier 10 in World of Tanks. And now with a T110E4 and an E50 coming after me, I honestly thought this was a nightmare. Let's just pause this situation. We are at 1,600 damage, 145 spotting, and 72 hit points. Let's see what we can do with it. At this point, I got nothing to lose, and there's nothing more dangerous than American with nothing to lose. So we're going to just try and we're almost going to use the fact that we're on low hit points now to bait the enemies into kind of getting greedy and trying to make plays. We track the T110E4. We're doing exactly what you should do in the T110E5, which is to over-angle it and then bait them into shooting your thick, well-angled side armor. And just like that, we're taking kind of like that 1,700, 1,800 combined that we had, and now we're up to 3,400 combined. We want to just keep moving, not give the E100 as easy of shots as we gave the T110E4, and hopefully just start caking this E100's turret and also their lower plate. So in this situation, my heat rounds, even though they've got 340 millimeters of penetration, are unable to go through the turret reliably, but they're actually over-angling their vehicle, which means they're vulnerable to AP. So we're going to use the correct round for the correct job, and look at this damage per minute. Adrenaline rush, as you can see in the center at the bottom of your screen right now, has gone off because we've got less than 10% of our hit points. You think they would be at 72, and that increases our rate of fire by 10%. But remember, it's also going to be taking into account crew skills, the premium consumable, vents. It's probably more like a 12% rate of fire increase. And so now, a tank that has probably, I've got kind of like tortoise level damage per minute, and it feels so right. I tracked the Foch 155 once, tracked the Foch 155 twice, and after it was looking like this was going to be one of the worst games I've ever had in the T110E5, oh, this was satisfying. With the support of the CC Mark II and some good support from the artillery, that's what I like to see. Now over about like 7,400 combined on 72 hit points. That's right. We did about like 5,500 combined there without breaking a sweat. Well, I have to admit, at the time, I was definitely breaking a sweat. So we went from kind of like absolutely throwing this game to just clawing our way back into it. It wasn't a 1 versus 2 in the situation against 2 full health tier 10 tanks, because undoubtedly the CC Mark II behind me and the artillery were able to give me some good assistance. So in this situation, I was noticing there was a 279E on the enemy team, and I thought, I gotta go in, try and destroy the artillery as quickly as possible so I can go get up on the hill and be able to get some shots in. in this kind of a situation, you can't really predict where everyone is going to be. And when you're on 72 hit points, any artillery shell could splash anywhere near your vehicle and be able to finish off. So I think being aggressive in this situation, especially when I've pretty much got like a 5-second reload with the adrenaline rush right now, has got to be the best bet. So we spot the GW100, we put the first shot in, we keep coming around the corner to try and get the high ground to be able to get the GW100, and oh. Well, there's the other piggy. So I don't think in this situation I did anything wrong by making the aggressive play there. Maybe I could have waited for the CC Mark II to go in for me, but I feel that the longer that I left the 279E over towards the west, the worse this game was going to get. Nevertheless, I felt, yeah, 72 hit points. Look what we stretched them out to. Nearly 8,000 combined in this game of World of Tanks. So now I was thinking, easy game, right? But then I looked at what was happening on the minimap. Yeah, it dawned on me. Okay, they got a full 279E. So I say, guys, you should cap. And then I'm probably going to say, they have a full, their 279E is full HP. Capture the base. The T100LT ignores. The CC Mark II ignores. The GSAW ignores. Our artillery is wanting to go TD mode here. The T100LT, actually, to be fair, has gone back to the cap circle. And he just literally did a U-turn to instead now go after their heavy tanks instead. I say, I'm starting to get a little bit more frustrated. So I say, their 279E will farm you. Go cap. Their 279E paragraph will paragraph farm you. And oh man, there's nothing worse than just sweating on 70 hit points and doing near 8,000 combined and just watching an absolute train wreck of a game. The T100LT narrowly avoids the BZ-58-2, now seemingly not wanting to shoot a reloading tank. The 252, or the 212A tries to take a swing at the 279E, who doesn't take any damage. And our T100LT, they are showing me that they are not the best of light tanks. I felt my blood pressure rising right now. Their 279E is still on near full hit points, making their way back, but it's okay because you know what, our T100LT is actually making some okay plays now. They finish off the BZ-58-2. So with 35 seconds left on the cap and a full health CC Mark II, this was the CC Mark II that was helping me so much earlier on in the battle. You know what, there's still chances, right? There's still chances. So in this situation, if you're the T100LT, I guess he doesn't want to get caught by the 279E, but he also has to help the Mark II. This Mark II doesn't look like they're packing the top gun, but in this kind of a situation, it's very hard to deal with the 279E unless they're managing to unless they come down and fight in close quarters. But the CC Mark II actually puts in a good shot. I'm getting a little sarcastic and frustrated in the chat now, saying, "Oh wow, it's happening." Yeah, the train wreck that for me was just so obvious that everybody wanted to ignore. The elephant in the room. Oh god. And of course their 279E doesn't look like an idiot. And while the T100LT hits him, he's got his armor towards the T100LT. I'm surprised he managed to pen him. The 279E finishes off the T100. But we've still got an arty, and I tell you what, this CC Mark II has done a fantastic job. Although our artillery seems to do a fantastic job of stunning him in this situation. So now all he has to do is put one shot in. Oh no. I think he's reloading. The CC Mark II on our team says, OMG. But I don't think you can blame the CC Mark II. He very nearly managed to 1v1 a 279E from about 1,800 hit points. So he put at least 3 shells in. Oh my goodness gracious. What an absolute depressing experience. But you know what? It's not all over yet, ladies and gents, boys and girls. We have Hassan81, who's playing in a GWE 100, who has a chance because the 279E is down to 484 hit points. And if they load AP shells, they can possibly have a good chance. So I have to admit, I was pretty salty here. I say, wow, T100LT, this was very hard to predict. And good job not capping. I have to admit, the passive-aggressive sarcasm was a little bit, in retrospect, he probably, no, actually, you know what, he blooming well deserved it. Like, at the end of the day, people can play World of Tanks however they want, But come on, bro. Literally going off and just not securing a game against a full health 279E. I think it's more of a Darwin Award that my team deserve here. But I don't lose faith. I say, Hassan, you can still win. Although CXNO in their CC Mark II says, I don't believe. I suggest that they should use AP and wait for them to cap. That's what I think the best option would be for the GWE 100 to be able to handle this. Why would they fire AP? Because the GWE 100's AP shell has about 500, 550 alpha damage. And the 279E, you're not going to destroy a 279E with a single shot with HE or even damaging HE. So AP has to be the way here. And there might even be some funky angles where you can be able to overmatch. And the GWE 100 with AP has got over 300 millimeters of pen, I believe. So it should be enough. Okay, exciting. I suggest to wait for the 279E to cap. I suggest to go for the cap again, and I say pray. And we must pray, because Hassan, maybe he misses you. Maybe he misses you. And I suggest now maybe go for their cap, because to all intents and purposes, the 279E could be coming over the bridge. But here we go. Hassan versus the 279E. Hassan loses their engine and drives backwards against a reloading 279E. Oh, ladies and gents, boys and girls. This was just one of those games of World of Tanks. Oh, where even all of my fight, all of my American spirit with those 72 hit points just wasn't enough to get across the finish line. And GG, well played to the 279E on the enemy team for snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat. Although, you know, I don't think this team's jaws really were kind of like some saber tooth, probably more a dilapidated chihuahua kind of just gifting this game. But they still did everything that they needed to do to carry this one, so well played to the 279E. One of the most depressing things about this is they managed to steal the high caliber away from me as well, so I don't get the battle hero medal, and so we miss what would have definitely been an ace tanker in the T110E5. So it always amazes me when literally 5 players had the option to just go and sit in the cap circle and they choose to lose. But I guess at least with this team, the no cap kill all was strong. Now don't get me wrong, if you can manage to destroy all of the enemy vehicles, you should do. You're going to get more medals, you're going to get more XP, and you're going to get the satisfaction of finishing them off. However, if you aren't 99% sure that you're going to be able to handle those vehicles, don't be a donkey and just cap it out. Or you too might be demonstrating how to throw in World of Tanks. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, it was just a silly video for you today. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday and you want to see some more American action, then I'm going to be performing a tech tree showcase today on the T110E3, which is currently top of the tree. So come along right now and see why it's still one of the best lines in the game, even with the nerfs, and see why I still recommend the American tank destroyers. So really looking forward to seeing you all live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.